Om Namo Bhagavate Ramakrishna. Om, salutations to Bhagavan Ramakrishna. Welcome to the 10th class in this series of approaching meditation. We've come actually a long way, and also we are getting a little more deeper into these profound mysteries of meditation. In the last class, the question was raised, do emotions give rise to thoughts, or thoughts give rise to emotions? And as promised, this class is dedicated to understanding the structures that underlie the mind. Okay. Before we can go into it, I just want to briefly give you a bird's eye view of the structures of the mind. Let me begin with, however, Swami Vivekananda is very clear that while meditation, the emotional side of your personality, he's saying suppress the emotional side altogether. Now this is because what happens is, in meditation, especially when the meditation becomes slightly mature and a little deeper, your meditation itself can deflect you from your intended goal because of the various emotional structures. That's the reason why saying one has to suppress the emotional side altogether. Okay. Before we can get into it, as we know, let's do a short exercise on relaxing and becoming aware of things. Okay, please sit down straight, close your eyes please, and stretch your spine, as it were, reach out to the sky, as it were. Now keep your chin level. Become aware of yourself. Now, as you breathe in, take a long deep breath and tighten all your facial muscles. Exhale and relax all your facial muscles. Inhale and tighten all your shoulder muscles, please. Exhale and release the muscles. Clench both your fists, please. Inhale and exhale and unclench your fist and relax. Breathe in, tighten all your torso muscles. the back and the stomach. Exhale, release them. Inhale, tighten all your leg muscles, please. Exhale and release them. Now think of yourself as lofty. You are beyond all this small, mundane self of yours. Become aware of your chest rising and falling with each breath, please. Feel your stomach now rise and fall with each breath. Now look within your body, in that space inside. There is only space inside. And expand that space. Now feel that space, visualize it as luminous. You are that luminosity. You are that lightness. This is your divine light. Meditate on yourself as divine light, please. Okay, let go. Take a long, deep breath. And open your eyes. That was good. Thinking, feeling, and willing are inextricably linked within us. Feeling. Imagine what life would have been if there were no emotions. That's the motor that drives you. It drives, of course, it makes things rich. Imagine your memories without a tinge of emotions. They look so pale and so dull. At the same time, there are emotions that make even ordinary memories and thoughts sometimes so wild that you like to recoil from them. So these thoughts, feelings and willing, and of course once you will, there is an action, are inextricably linked in our personalities. However, we can separate them. As I said before, Swami Vivekananda says one has to suppress the emotional side altogether while meditating. One has to use just one's intellect, or what is called the buddhi, the intelligence. One meditates and keep everything down. Otherwise, you are going to muddy the waters, as you say. Okay. Now, these emotions are linked with thoughts and also feelings and memories and all these things. So, how do we take them apart? Well, they can. Once you understand that these emotions are also structured. We've been talking about structures and structures of the mind and how the mind operates. This is one of the fundamental structures of the mind. The mind works in this, you can say, method. When emotions linked with the thoughts which are in the past, like the memories, they come up, they cause us stress. When you see something, you recall something and it stresses you. And that's the reason why one has to disengage. So, it's only when you know what emotions are rising at what level and what excites or empowers these emotions, then we can move ahead. Okay. Because we can't control things coming from the external world. Your senses are all open, just drinking in things. We have hardly any control over the mind to stop the reactions. And then we have hardly any control over the body. Our voluntary control of ourselves has not been exercised. And meditation is nothing but exercising that degree of control. Okay. Now, as I said before, there are emotional and these are structured. I'll give you an example. The emotions are always inlaid with memories. Ordinarily, most of the time, in most of the people, you can't separate the thought from the feeling. Let me give you an example. We've got something. Now, this is just a kind of a paper. I crumple it. Okay. And then I open it out. It's crumpled, of course. And then at the rear end, it's just a print. These are the memories and these are the emotions. They are linked. Now, suppose I re-crumple it again. It's not going to crumple in the same way, not on the same creases. This is what you get. Does something like this happen in the mind? No. Something akin happens like that. I'll give you another example. I've got something for you. But something like this, like in the art of origami, this is a kind of a crane. Okay. It's folded up beautifully, and you can unfold it and you can again refold it. It will fold in the same manner. Folding and refolding it, you will get the folds on the same crease. The mind, when it is whipped up with an emotion, actually works like this. It folds itself, it forms. As I mentioned before, the mind takes the form of an object. This is the principle in epistemology in Vedanta. The mind takes the form of the object. And there's not just one form that the mind takes. It has many forms. So, it forms and reforms. Suppose there's another thing like this. This is another form. So, you open it. These are the memories. This is the emotion. You can fold it exactly like on the old creases. So, you experience and re-experience emotions like this. I think this is clear. We will proceed. So, it's not a random kind of crumpling. There is a method to that folding. Okay. There are primary and there are secondary structures of emotions in the mind. So, to give you a kind of a background, this system is used by singers, actors, it's like in drama, in dance, everywhere, because it was written by a sage called Bharata, and the book is Natya Shastra, the book on dance, the scripture on dance. You know, we like to write scriptures, and dance also was made scriptural. And he enumerated 8 principal emotions. Later on, another great sage, Abhinavagupta, he added a 9th, and later some sages added another one, 10th. So, they are, just to enumerate it. First is love, and love in all forms, erotic love, filial love, all types of love. It's called Shringara or Rati. Second is mirth, like comedy, comic, you know. It's called Hasya. Yeah, these are structures in the mind, like they fold and they unfold. Third is sorrow, shoka, or being pathetic. The fourth is anger or fury, krodha or raudra. Fifth is heroic or energetic, veera. We feel sometimes. The sixth is terrible or frightening, vibhatsa, bhaya. Odious or kind of disgust, vibhatsa, jugupsa. Eighth is something you're struck with wonder, or something marvelous, you see something, and that is vismaya, adbhuta. The 9th, which is added, is the peaceful, you can say, emotion, shanta, and the 10th is called bhakti, devotion. Okay. These are the 10 structures, primary structures. There's more to come, don't worry. whenever the mind experiences these emotions, it folds in a particular pattern, and then when the emotion is over, it unfolds for another pattern to emerge. So the mind is taking, it's patterning and repatterning over and over again. So these primary emotions, primary structures, they are called bhavas. They are part of you. Bhava is to be, to exist, you. This theory was called doctrine, not a theory, of rasas. Rasas means taste, flavor, you can say anything that's the very essence of you. You are that. You are that. These. Now the secondary structures are, I'll give you a list. There are 33. Now the primary ones are called sthayi bhava. They are kind of permanent. Of course, nothing is permanent in this world, but they have a more lasting, you can say, effect than the second ones are more transient, but they are causes of the first ones. Okay. So hold on, let's go through the list. Dejection, lassitude, suspicion, jealousy, infatuation, fatigue, laziness, helplessness, anxiety, confusion, remembrance, boldness, bashfulness, fickleness, pleasure, excitement, heaviness, pride, sorrow, impatience, sleep, forgetfulness, dream, waking, intolerance, dissimulation, ferocity, desire, even illness, temporary insanity, seeing death, fear and guessing. These are the 33. I hope they are 33, of course. They empower or energize or articulate the primary ones. So this is the first structure, this is the second structure. And like everything, they are constantly in flux. They are working on each other. Now we get this, okay, this is fine, we understand it. There is another factor, the external world. And from this external world, things come in. When I take, for instance, food, I'm looking at it, I'm smelling it, I'm tasting it, I'm touching it. All the senses are kind of engaged, and they give you a kind of a unique experience. So anything that comes from outside is called a vibhavas. Okay, just to put it on record, the sthayi bhavas, the temporary ones or the primary ones are called sthayi bhavas. Secondary are the vyabhichari or sanchari, and the third is vibhavas. And then there is something called, you can't stop some emotions from happening. Like, because most of them are involuntary. And so they are classed in a different category. We won't go into that because we know it. So these are the two primary structures which also has a contributing factor from the outside. So to give you a kind of an idea of things, let's say emotions, they make us act out things in the world, obviously. you're impelled by emotions to act out things in the world. That's the first level. The second level is, of course, when the emotion is not acted out. I mean, you hold yourself. You want to get angry, but you check yourself. But it does affect your body. Your heart rate goes up, you start sweating a little, and your breathing becomes fast, but you check yourself. But it has an effect on the body. So it's physiological. The first one is really karma. Second one, you held yourself, but it has physiological implications. Okay, a cortisol goes up and this and that. So many things are happening there. Okay. The third is then the actual primary structures, the 10 which I had enumerated, the first 10. Love and the heroism and energy, etc., etc. And then beneath that are the 33, all kind of bubbling up, interplay, and then we have the external world also playing its role. Apart from that, you have memories, which are also causes of these emotions. And then there are the primary memories, and then those memories are again recreated every time we remember them. Every time you remember a thing, it's being recreated. It is in the past as well as now in the present. So this is your present personality, and you've got to suppress the whole thing while meditating. Wonderful. Now you know there are all these structures inside. It's just impossible. How do you even begin to start smashing them? You can't. You can't smash them. You can make one more dominant in your life, so the others are held in abeyance. Generally, the peaceful, you can say, emotion is excellent for spiritual aspirants, or even the bhakti. So whatever is predominant, that will stay for a long time, and the contributing factors will contribute to that particular emotion only. And it's extremely important to understand that these are interplays of forces, and they can be neutralized, of course, through just a singleness, a perfect concentration. Everything is held for a time. Okay. There are other factors also. We don't need to go. I don't want to complicate things further. I've already given you 43. There are 43. And so just remember one thing. The mind takes the form of the object. The object can be thinking or feeling or willing. It takes a form. And like I had shown you, it folds and unfolds things over and over and over again, and will fall on the same lines. It won't fold something like this. I mean, I don't know, there may be some minds which fold up like that. But so these emotions, they make you what you are. So to understand when the mind is in this particular state, that is important. So you can raise another contrary emotion. Swami Vivekananda just gives an example. Suppose you've had a fight with somebody, okay, and you're furious, and then you see your child come in, and then immediately you grab the child and lift the child and kiss the child, and your emotion is that fury is neutralized by that love. Yeah, you will have memories, but then for that time being it has been neutralized. So what we do is keep one prominent, one feeling prominent, and that is devotion or knowledge. Keep it permanent, and as you keep on meditating and meditating and meditating, you approach that. And as in the classical, you can say, books on yoga says, what you think, so will you become. And that Buddha also says, what you will think, so will you become. So that form in the mind, you become that form. So raise that particular form. Like if you have one of love, you'll be loving, to everybody. And the idea is, the moment you feel love, love for everybody, not in a specific person or place or thing. What happens is, you have made that love pure, and the other people invariably, they will feel that love. It is not contained just within you, because those structures are in all minds, and you respond accordingly. If you have love, the other people will respond with you exactly like that. Of course, there are people who are kind of evil and they will take advantage, but then generally this is. So that's why in the Yoga Sutras also says, ahimsa pratishtayam tat sannidho vairatyaga. When you are established in non-killing, non-injury, all enmity around you will cease. Yes. So you give off that kind of, like a flower, you give off that, you can say, odor. The fragrance goes out and people can catch it. That is what emotions are. Okay. So much for this long, you can say, structural explanations of things, but it's necessary for us to understand these. There are a whole host of emotions that are, as you say, muddying the waters down there, and so we cannot see the bottom of the lake. So once this is clear, then you can meditate. So this is essential. For right now, I think this is enough today. We'll open it up for questions, and next class will be something on, as I mentioned, to develop concentration, trataka. Like we've been doing this. How do you suppress all these things? As I said, they are just waves in the mind. How do you suppress? Concentration. You focus intensely, and then all the other waves die, and this wave rises higher and higher and higher. That's what happens. It's like a tsunami. It takes in all the surrounding water and rises higher and higher and higher. Exactly the same way concentration does to the mind while meditating. So next class will be on concentration, trataka.